The horrors persist, and we must take pictures of them. We're entering our flop era.
Shit's bleak out here. All right.
18 plus, who wants to get milked?
It's kind of quality we have here. Debate this.
I need the edge. I need what the raw, unfiltered internet can bring you.
This is probably only going to be the third or fourth dumbest thing I've said today.
That's for nobody.
Just out there raw dogging the internet.
Way more hog than I expected.
It's about as much hog as I anticipated.
This is going to be one of those episodes, isn't it?
Here comes the cow. Here comes the cow.
All right, let's get this over with so we can play Magic.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how Season 16 and the release of Stadium is going to be my way to get Andrew back into hit hero shooter Overwatch 2.
What is...
Press
What?
X to doubt.
I feel like
What
this is
is-
a post show.
Pokemon Stadium is exciting. Yes, I love Pokemon Stadium.
What if
They're
I
doing a
told
Pokemon
you-
Stadium hero shooter, Matt?
What if I
I'll do
told you-
awesome.
Well, yeah,
They
it's,
kinda did a
it's
Pokemon.
called Pokemon Unite. Yeah, that happened years ago.
No, that was a MOBA.
What's the elevator pitch, Matt?
The elevator pitch is they put menuing in Overwatch and made it.
Andrew loves menuing.
Okay, sure. I think I might need more than that, but you've got my attention.
Are there also Chivos?
You've got my attention.
They really released like a MOBA version. Like they took all of the things about
Okay,
Overwatch
I'm out.
that made it
I'm
a
out
little
again.
bit of a MOBA and then made it a lot
I
more
don't
of
know
a
if you're
MOBA.
out again.
No, I think
I'm
you
out
might
again.
like it. It's kind of, you do builds, you earn bounties as you play. Rounds are shorter. You can play in
Can you-
third person.
Can you play in single player mode?
Yeah, there's 4 other people on your team, but it's just you.
Sure, yeah.
Andrew,
All right,
have
yeah,
you played a MOBA since you removed League of Legends from whatever computer you had in 2013?
No, I mean, I played Pokemon Unite for the 2 weeks that everybody played Pokemon Unite.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say,
It was
Andrew, this
fine.
dangerously sounds like League of Legends. And the 2010 versions of us
Sure.
loved League of Legends.
Man.
Fair point. The 2010 versions of us were also the worst versions of us.
They're
as
not-
Well, it was also
That's
the
what I'll go
worst.
back to.
It was also the worst version of League of Legends. So
Yeah,
It's true.
it all,
Yeah.
it all pans out.
fair.
Anyway, we can talk about this more in the post show. To get to what we're doing today, as winter has turned to spring, I've found myself outside and enjoying the nature around me. Visiting new places, exploring hiking trails, and practicing my amateur photography skills on the species I see are some of my favorite spring pastimes. Unfortunately, as winter has turned to spring, I found myself being a sniffly little snot gremlin with itchy eyes and a scratchy throat at basically all hours of the day.
Hell yeah, brother.
Luckily for me and other people with springtime allergies, Nintendo and HAL Laboratories solved this problem back in 1999 with the release of Pokemon Snap. For those unfamiliar with this N64 classic or its 2021 sequel, Pokemon Snap is an on-rails, first-person photography game where the player is tasked with taking pictures of Pokemon. That's it. That's the whole premise. Sit in this cart and take fun pictures. It's literally the best game
And
ever.
it whips ass.
It's the Time Crisis cabinet you would find in your local Dave and Buster's, but Pokemon.
Yes. Yeah, it's exactly that. And I love it. Pokemon Snap was my sick day game. Anytime I got sick as a kid, I would beat Pokemon Snap instead of watching Maury and Dr. Phil.
The Price is Right for 3 hours didn't keep you locked in.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you could beat it in the span of a normal cinematic
Yeah.
timeline.
It was like a
of movie.
7-hour game. It's incredible. So, as winter turns to spring here at DT HQ, the execs are also hunting for their next big thing, TM. And they've decided that 2025 is going to be the summer of amateur aesthetic nature photography. The only issue with cranking out a Pokemon Snap like is that you can't use Pokemon. And that's kind of the whole draw of the game. I mean, if it was just regular nature photography, you could go outside. You don't need a game to do that. So the execs are looking for us to pitch the next IP for them to wrap around a photography game. And joining me to introduce some possible focuses and locales for those games are Kyle Uncle Bob Harper, Andrew Hot Shoe Henderson, and Todd Spray and Pray Thomas.
These are bowling nicknames.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I was going to say these are old-timey baseball names. Hot
That's
Shoe
also good.
is what got me thinking about that.
These are from SageorFFEJ.com. 25 words only photographers use.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
think our jokes were better.
they were. Uncle Bob is a photography phase for that guy at a wedding who knows a lot about photography.
Oh.
Yeah. Spray and pray, shooting several photos per second with no thought or consideration. And then Hot Shoe, a socket on a camera with direct electrical contacts for an attached flash gun or other accessory. There you go.
oh.
We all learned something
neat.
about photography today. Yeah.
I can say
not really.
in theater, without hearing those terms, I've encountered an Uncle Bob as there's the audio version of an Uncle
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
And then I
I
feel like
every niche hobby has an Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
well, niche hobby that can go pro. Yeah.
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 Well, I was going to say every major career that you have to interact with the public, like people hire you to do a service that you are specialized in,
Mhm.
but like also, so specifically for photography, some people just do it casually. They just like
Mhm.
taking photos.
Yep.
I think there is a Venn diagram of like a hobby that a lot of people can do and a profession that takes a ton of skill, and where they overlap is where Uncle
Yeah.
Bob lives.
It's the
Yeah.
Uncle
By-
Bob quotient.
The Uncle Bob quotient.
Buy expensive gear. Do it for 15 plus years. Be very, very snooty about it. And Bob's your uncle.
Very
That
good.
was pretty good, Andrew.
Very
I'm going to give you
good.
that. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's talk about photography games. What universe are we going to, and why are we on our photography expedition? Kyle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Matt. So, opening of the game here. You wake up surrounded by red light because that's how every day has started in Vault 1907 since it was sealed.
I'm in.
You learn from the Vault Overseer that today the Vault has finally completed its primary directive, developing and archiving all of the film that was stored in Vault 1907 with its denizens all those years ago. Now, Vault 1907 can finally begin its second directive, archiving how the citizens, civilization, and landscape have changed since the fallout. However, no one in Vault 1907 wants to venture out into the scary open world with its white light and natural colors after living in the comfort and seclusion that the red lit 1907 has offered for so long, except for you. So you become tasked with archiving the fallout in Fallout Kodachrome.
Oh,
Kyle.
shit. That's good.
This is really good, man.
That's really good.
Holy shit, I love this. I'm very excited. I love the concept. I love what you're doing. I'm excited to hear more about it. Go ahead, Andrew. You look like you were going to say
I was
something.
just going to comment. I snorfed my tea when he said that title. It was a really good title.
Yeah,
Thank
can
you.
you give us that one more time?
Fallout Kodachrome.
Yeah, that rips. I love that.
Hey, real quick, I know what Kodachrome is a reference to, but,
Yeah, but
for
tell us.
Matt and
Yeah.
Andrew, Kyle, would you just like kind of peel back the layers of that onion?
Kodachrome was a very popular type of film made by Kodak, very popular color
Yeah.
film, and Paul Simon wrote a song about it.
yeah.
See, Matt, Andrew, now you know what that is all about.
That was
Yeah.
also for Matt's dad. Hey, Matt.
It was also for Matt's dad.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I love that. We'll hear more about it soon. But first, Andrew, where are you taking us on our photography adventure?
The year is 2020X.
Oh, yeah.
Over 60% of the world's population has been wiped out by a global pandemic that emerged 15 years ago. The cordyceps brain infection is a mutation of the Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, excuse me.
You got there.
Or otherwise known as the zombie ant fungus. This one day inexplicably evolved and began affecting the brains of humans. And since its onset, modern civilization as we know it has crumbled, and the world's remaining survivors live in isolated quarantine zones under oppressive martial law. The cordyceps pandemic is still raging and shows no signs of slowing down, as there is no known treatment or cure. You play as a young 20-something survivor living in the Boston QZ, going from odd job to odd job just to scrounge what you can to get by, just like everyone else. One day you're approached by a member of the Fireflies, who is the kind of known, secretive, sort of, but not really, underground rebellion that many just see as like straight up terrorists. Now, the Fireflies want more information on the long-term impact of the cordyceps parasite, but of course, due to strict quarantine procedures, nobody can freely roam the outside world. However, your character's knack for slipping in and out of the QZ has put you on their radar, and the promise of countless guns, ammo, and ration slips is just too tempting. And so, you pack up your dad's old Polaroid camera and set off into the darkness to document humanity's greatest threat. The year is 2025. The global economy is headed toward a slow and inevitable ruin. And the Switch 2 has just been announced on the back of the United States implementing several confused tariffs of foreign goods. Sony, having lost out to Microsoft and their Game Pass subscription service month over month, needs a win. And so it's time, once again, that Sony breaks the biennial emergency glass that says, The Last of Us re-release. Coming this summer, literally 1 week after whenever the Switch 2 inevitably releases, is The Lens of Us.
The Lens of Us. Oh, yeah.
That is such Steam Shop draft chaff of a game title.
Yeah, it's a 4-mana 3/2 on Steam for sure.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
never leaving beta.
I love that.
No, it'll be in early access forever.
Yeah.
Early access forever and in every spring seasonal sale from now until the end of time. Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Thank you.
I have been dodging Last of Us spoilers my whole life. I spent 72 hours with my mom and she spoiled almost all of it for me. So
Yeah, man.
Good.
excited
Good.
to hear where this game is going today.
I'm sure we'll talk about it in the post show
Yeah.
because as of recording, the thing happened.
The thing happened.
And the internet isn't doing well.
Well, there's a very clear gap between the people who only know this property by the TV show and people who know this
Yeah.
property by the original game, and it's very fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. Coming soon to a post show near you.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, Todd, round out our pitches here today. What game or IP do you suggest we do a photography game for?
Yeah, Matt, if people wanted like gritty snap likes, because that's what I'm calling these games, snap
Yeah,
likes,
sure.
they would put on their big kid pants and they'd play Outlast. That is a gritty snap like.
You're right.
Yeah,
point.
no, people want friendly IPs that encourage exploration, bright colors, embrace nostalgia. And honestly, Matt, what we're going to do is we're going to crank those things to 11 and we're going to break off the dial. That's why I'm presenting today that we do Mario Snap, a title that I'm only like 50% sure wasn't already a thing before I said those words together in that order.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Please
Google
search
that.
it right now.
Yeah.
Nothing came up when I looked.
It's not impossible that was a game for the Super Nintendo Super Scope.
That is so accurate.
Doesn't look like anything on the initial Google search, so I'm going to let you get away with this one.
Yeah. No, I did that same search a couple hours ago and was like, "We're green light, go, let's go."
You can't trust the Google search these days, though. I get your skepticism.
Yeah. So to give you the plot of what we're doing here, in this game, you, which is like you, the collective denizens of Mushroom Kingdom, are approached by a flying camera named Snappy. Who Snappy has tell me if any of this is off base. It is not off base.
Not yet, no.
You're approached by a
he-
flying
he
camera
checks
named
out.
Snappy, who's traveled from far away in search to explore the greatest sights from across the Mushroom Kingdom and other associated providences of Mushroom Kingdom. You're going to travel to various Nintendo worlds as the leading Mario characters and vehicles specific to that character, to that world. So examples would be, you'll pilot an aquatic Mario car as you don a Hawaiian shirt and explore Delfino Plaza. I guess it's probably amphibious car because that's land and water.
Yeah, like a ducky in Pittsburgh.
Like a ducky in Pittsburgh. That's exactly what I meant to say.
Everybody who
not know
listens
what
to
you're
this
saying.
podcast knows exactly what that is. Continue.
I have seen the amphibious cars that go from road to shitty lake.
I don't know that Pittsburgh has a monopoly on amphibious vehicles, but
They sure don't. They have a monopoly on my experience of them, but I figured
I
you
see.
would know what that
I
means.
see.
Yeah, your Pittsburgh is my Salina, Ohio. Effectively the same place.
Yeah.
So, amphibious cars, Delfino Plaza. You'll get to ride Bowser's airship as you explore his lava-spewing floating castle. You'll get to embrace big city gridlock as Wario in his purple Cadillac as you see the bustling sights of New Donk City. It's all here for you and your new friend Snappy in Mario Snap.
Todd, my only issue with this is we already canonically have a canonical flying camera character. That's the Lakatu.
Yeah, it's true.
Ooh, see, I do like that, but that then takes Lakatu out of the equation of you want to fly around as Lakatu.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to have his own agency, not just carrying the camera.
Is that why you tried to sell him as a pet in your pet store?
Got him.
That was years ago, Kyle. I've grown as a person.
Okay.
Well, we need to give him a job because that pet store canonically shut
It
down.
does not
Yeah,
work.
it doesn't exist.
Also, knowing that you get to like pilot the different Mario Kingdom vehicles, I want the Lakatu Cloud to be a thing you can pilot. Also, Kyle, we have to sell things. We need a snappy camera. We have to sell the plushies.
The like lead duotagonist that is just a sentient camera named Snappy is so second party Mario game coded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a first party Mario game. It's like a Mario Party story or like a Mario or like a Paper Mario story.
I mean, he's taking it right out of a first party
Sure.
Mario game.
Yeah.
It is a very clear homage, we'll say, to Cappy.
Yeah, that's
It's,
fair.
it's two things. It's Cappy and it's also the robot from Mario Raving Rabbids.
Sure.
That like drives you around. It's those two things combined. I
Sure.
get it. There's peanut butter,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
chocolate. I put them together.
Sure.
I love a sentient floating camera coming up and being like, "Hey, I'm Snappy. I'm Cappy's cousin from the Mushroom
Hey,
Kingdom."
it's me, Yoshi.
Like, that's very good.
Gabagool.
Okay, all right. I love this. I like all of these ideas. We've got two gritty snap likes and one
Snappy like.
snappy Mario like, and I like all of that. So the next thing I want to hear about is the contents of these games. What exciting flora and or fauna will we see on our expedition? And part of the allure of Pokemon Snap was trying to catch Pokemon in particular poses, maybe playing together, maybe up on their hind legs, maybe doing a roar or a shout or whatever it is Pokemon do. So what other exciting moments are we trying to capture? Kyle, take it away.
Yeah, Matt. So in Fallout Kodachrome, it's going to start off like straight up Fallout Pokemon Snap. You're going to go out, your Pip-Boy is going to beep, and you're going to have a message of like, go find me a picture of a rad scorpion, get a picture of a super mutant, etc., etc. You will get these objectives from a later to be revealed source asking for you to document the wiki entries on fandom.fallout.wiki. I could list those off for you. I'm not going to waste everyone's time.
Kyle, I guarantee you it would not be a waste of my time for you to list them out.
As you wrap up the typical explorer flora fauna pictures, you will start to get some other more specific quests coming in on your Pip-Boy. Capture a photo of a citizen of Fallout location.
You want a type 5 on him,
Nope.
Kyle?
No,
I'll throw
no.
you a
Let
couple.
him squirm.
Let
He can do it.
me struggle. I'll get there. Capture a citizen. Capture a member of Caesar's Legion. Capture a member.
Got it.
Great
Nailed it.
first choice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Good
Yeah.
start.
Take a picture of the front door of another vault. Take a picture of the inside of another vault, etc., 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 leading you all around New Vegas and Los Angeles, Santa Monica,
Other
Mojave.
Fallout places.
We're hitting all the locations, Matt, because it will be revealed to seasoned Fallout players that we are also tracking the main story beats of every other Fallout game in photo. We're going through and you're going to follow right behind the events of Fallout 1 or 2 or New Vegas and get the aftermath of what that story looks like when the hero has won and moved on.
We're the Lion King 1.5 of Fallout.
Precisely.
Okay. I dig it. I'm a little afraid you're gonna make a turn and you're gonna be like, and you were the director of the Fallout games the whole time or some shit.
Don't read ahead, Matt.
Okay, I'm in. Andrew, tell me about the flora and fauna of the Lens of Us.
Yeah, man. Well,
I forgot that's what it's called.
So I've got great news because in the world of the Lens of Us, there's a lot of flora to capture, specifically the flora that has infected the brains of 60% of a certain type of fauna, i.e. humans, and has turned them into terrifying mushroom zombies. So the core premise of this game is that you're going to be tasked with taking pictures of those infected by the cordyceps brain infection. And the goal of that is to provide necessary field research that will hopefully aid the Fireflies in finding a way to fight back. This also notably takes place 5 years before the events of The Last of Us, when the Fireflies weren't so desperate, if you are familiar with the property. So there's still a little optimism in that, like, we're gonna beat this infection and we're gonna, dismantle the oppressive military rule, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to begin by, just scouting abandoned buildings scattered throughout the outskirts of the QZ. But as the game progresses, just like in Pokemon Snap, the environments become more and more robust, more and more deadly, as will your photography targets. So at first level, you're going to mostly just search through like ruins, searching through corpses, maybe scavenging, and you're looking for signs of the final stage of the CBI, which is full fungal takeover. And I want to throw in an image here it's actually from episode 1 of The Last of Us TV show, because I think it just really kind of encapsulates like what stage 4 looks like. And I'll describe this for listeners at home. So the cordyceps brain infection has 4 stages. The last stage is after several years, like the mushroom keeps you alive. That's why like these aren't zombies. They're just like being fully controlled. They're like feral humans, but the infection slowly kills you, and when it does, the mushroom completely takes over, and you are just like a statue mushroom man, and it looks rad as hell.
It does look very cool.
It does, yeah. If you took a zombie mushroom and ran it into a wall at exceptionally high speed, it would look kind of like this image.
Yeah,
Terminal velocity of zombie mushroom.
Yeah,
I agree. Well said. So that's how we start. But then you move on to actually living targets. And this is where the game really kicks into high gear, because just like the original game, The Lens of Us will also heavily incorporate stealth gameplay. You know how we all love stealth gameplay.
everybody's favorite.
So it's going to require you to sneak around carefully, trying to safely capture these close-up shots of the cordyceps zombies. Take whatever the most gruesome, horrifying shots you can find, because any piece of information, whether it's, how they eat, how often they eat, how they live in solitude, how they live in groups, how they prey, all these things, any piece of information is helpful, and that will definitely be worth your while. So as you progress through the game, you're going to unlock more and more dangerous biomes. You'll also have access to other buyers that aren't just the Fireflies, right? So this is kind of like the linear story progression, but you could have bonus challenges, other side quests, could have, helping the military find spots where raiders are camping out by taking shots of their locations, maybe helping random survivors confirm the whereabouts of missing people, either like confirming dead bodies or like, hey, this person actually made it to this other quarantine zone. Or the best part, which is taking on contracts from the local freaks that just want to get the most terrifying shots of fungal zombies just to feel something. And this is where I think the game really kicks on the gas. And what made me excited about it is like the idea of like you are trying to get the perfect moment of a zombie rushing for you to get like a terrifying shot. Yeah.
I like it. I think that's cool. It's fun to be like a wartime photographer in The Last of Us. I think
getting
that's
pictures
really
for the little freaks.
Getting pictures for the little freaks, because like What else is there for other than, getting paid by little freaks?
It's like there's a bounty board on the home screen with a sign that just says kink shit.
Yeah.
Do you think that like the earliest photos from wars, like before photography was like really like an accessible thing? Do you think that at least what percent? That's the question. What percent of post early war photos was a man twirling his mustache behind the camera for the freaks?
Incredible question, and I think the answer is definitively. It's a good question. It's a good curiosity.
Closer.
The answer is absolutely non-zero.
Yeah.
I would venture to say most, in fact. I don't know. I don't know that I want to put a number to it, but I'm willing to say most.
I would go so far to say that the only reason we don't think of every camera inventor as a pervert is because they got to write their history and carefully excluded those parts. But
Kodak made it a corporation and not just a fetish.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with early doctors that are like, oh yeah, we're putting leeches on him to bleed him. And they look at the doctor and the doctor's like, yeah, that's why I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
It's medicine.
Why are your pants off?
Okay.
This is the only way to balance the four.
Wow. All right. I like
My
this.
legs get hot when I'm bleeding people of their blood to cure them. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Enough about the behaviors of questionable doctors and photographers of early Americas. Todd, talk to me a little bit about Mario Snap.
Yeah, Matt, this is where we get literally the who's who of Mario adjacent franchises. So we're getting all the good ones. They're all here. So you'll find yourself gliding across the desert plains in a Princess Peach themed hover car as you slalom past towering pokey cacti while trying to get that perfect glare-free shot of the angry sun. Now, those with a keen eye may spot in the distance a buzzard dangling Mario's hat just out of his reach, because that's a fun moment that we all experienced in Mario 64. You'll find yourself in a frog-like mech as you explore the sunken ship from Mario 64, and you'll get these breathtaking shots of the boss bass with its mouth open in an attempt to swallow your vehicle. Now, if you snap enough extra shots at the darkened windows of the sunken ship, you will be awarded with the horrifying eldritch nightmare of that eel that scared the shit out of us as children.
Yeah.
He's there. You just got to snap enough shots at the darkened window of the ship to free him from his chasm. So sorry that you chose to do that. Now, you'll find yourself at one point exploring a Sherbert Land-like ice level as a blue Yoshi on a snowmobile, and it'll give you a close-up look at things like penguins, frost piranhas, the Stumbly Bumbly Flurry, which is like a snow Goomba. I forget what Mario game they were, but they were...
I don't think you can say that, Tom.
Feels bad to say. But the real treat from a Frozen level like that would be if you manage to knock down the frozen crown onto a snack of snowballs, and you'll bring to life Mario's own Frosty the Snowman, the character Mr. Blizzard from Mario Sticker Star. Remember Mr. Blizzard from Mario Sticker Star? Sure
Certainly
you do.
don't.
I don't.
And he's going to cast his wild spells on that pack of Goombas that are all wearing cute little stocking caps that block the way. No Myconids smashing into walls around here. No horrifying vault freaks for you to take photos of. Just whimsy. Whimsy and an eel that scared the shit out of us as children. That's what I've got.
This was so many more Mario B-sides than I expected.
Yes, exactly.
Only
That's my
deep
secret
cuts.
cap. It's all Mario B-sides.
There were no A-sides in that list at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking, I would say, man, I wish the Angry Sun was an A side. To me, it's an A side. It's high tier B side.
I think Mr. Blizzard is the equivalent of like a song you can only find by getting a bootleg
Yeah.
That's the
concert.
NPR Tiny Desk recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A look behind the curtain would just be if you go to the Mario wiki and search snow. And like there's just a page of the like 30 characters that exist exclusively in snow levels. And I'm like, with a name like Mr. Blizzard, and that's spelled Mizzter.
Oh, sure.
We got
Yeah.
it. We got it.
Yeah, I have to know.
You
and I was like,
pronounced it
oh,
right.
snowman with a crown. It was a boss. Cool.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the kind of shit we're doing.
I do feel the need to point out that, like, okay, so we've got two games that are pretty similar in just vibe, and then one game that is a lot different. And Todd, you said there's no freaks, there's nobody out there wanting you to get pictures of weird shit, but you did say you might get assigned to go take a picture of the sun. You just have to take a glare-free picture of the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
The sun that's at eye level.
Yeah.
different. Well, it's not even it's not even at eye level. It's swooping at you.
Yeah.
It's flying towards you at sun-like speeds.
Well, to maintain the integrity of a Pokemon Snap-like, you have to have interactable environments, and at some point, you're going to piss off that sun. You're going to piss that sun off.
Now, Todd, I forget, is your game on rails, or is it more of like a stealth shooter like Andrews and I's?
No, it's going to be on
question.
rails. It's going to be on rails. I think
So-
to perfectly like enjoy the whimsy of a Mario level. Listen, I can't at age 37 put myself back in that sunken ship level exploring it by myself. I need to be on rails. I can't deal with that.
So, Todd, how am I dodging the sun as it flies at me as
It's
I'm on
thematic.
rails?
It's
Okay.
not gonna hit you.
Okay.
It's not gonna hit you. Kyle.
I'm
You're safe.
perfectly safe this
You're
whole...
safe here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're safe as long as you don't leave your Jurassic Park tumble orb.
I was just going to say it's like the Jeeps or the tumble orbs in Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
don't leave your tumble orb.
Good
I
job.
don't like that both of you knew they were called tumble orbs in Jurassic
No,
Park
no
World.
just
part
said
of
it
me is
really-
surprised that Matt does.
I didn't
just
have
said
a
it
word
really
for it. I just
confidently.
repeated Todd, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but we all know what I'm talking about.
I was going to say
Yeah,
Jeep.
yeah.
I want to nail one other thing. Kyle, you asked a good question. I kind of knew Todd's was on rails. I knew Andrew's wasn't on rails. Kyle, is yours not on rails?
Mine is all. I should have made that more clear. Yes, mine is not on rails. It's first person shooter like Fallout, but you have a camera instead of gun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think I respect these creative decisions, and Andrews certainly shouldn't be on rails. I do love the idea that Kyle's is just, here's a new fresh hell of a vault.
Yeah.
And you can't control how you're exploring it, but here you go. Because
Yeah, that kind of
leading into the post show, there's a listicle of the top 10 most fucked up vaults out there, and I got it ready.
Good.
You're basically doing like a House of the Dead sort
Yes,
of scenario.
exactly.
If you were to go that way.
Or a
Yeah.
Carnival. Yeah.
No, Kyle's answer is
Yeah,
definitely
Matt,
a better
like Carnival, the game, the cultural touchstone Carnival.
Yeah,
sure.
that's like one of the top selling arcade games of the 2000s. Everybody knows Carnival. Andrew.
There's
also-
no way that's
It's
Top-
also the
Top
catchiest.
selling arcade game of the 2000s, Matt. I want you to say that a few times and figure out why we're making fun of you.
top
also
selling
a catchy
GameCube
title.
racer. Top selling GameCube racer F-Zero GX would also like a word.
Okay, well, before I open up a can of whoop ass on myself, let's move on to my last question here. Pokemon Snap gave players a way to engage with the environment by throwing apples and pester balls. So, with what will you arm your players to aid them in their photographic quests? Kyle, you're up.
Yeah, Matt. So to take from Pokemon, Pester Ball and apples, they have two different effects. The Pester Ball agitates Pokemon, their subjects. Apples attracts them, they come towards it. They want to eat the apple. Yes, different Pokemon do have like the opposite reaction to that, but generally that's their use case. And we're going to do a similar thing in Fallout. You're going to have bottle caps and Radaway as your two items. Radaway you will use to disperse irradiated creatures. If rad scorpions are munching on a thing that you want to get a picture of, you'll throw some Radaway in there. They'll disperse and you'll get your picture. Bottle caps you'll drop some bottle caps and use them to lure more sentient subjects to an area to either get them to interact with something near there or just get them in better light, et cetera, et cetera. However, Matt, this is the Fallout world, not the Pokemon world. We aren't on rails. Things are trying to kill you, and you need a way to defend yourself. So we are going to have a third category here, and that is traps. This is going to start with your simple bear trap. You lay a bear trap, something's chasing you, it gets caught in that trap. It gives you time to get away. You can use it in more creative applications to get a subject to stay in one place long enough for the environment to interact with them, for them to interact with the environment, et cetera, et cetera. And this is going to be one that upgrades and changes throughout the game. You can swap out your trap item depending on what you want to accomplish. So your trap might be a timed bomb. You can set it, walk away, and it'll blow up after 10 seconds. Your trap might be a ripcord to trip something. If you're running away, you can throw it. It all depends on how the environment around you interacts, but you will not be left defenseless in this hyper-competitive, hyper-dangerous post-apocalyptic world we are cataloging like National Geographic.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
That kicks ass.
I love that.
Honestly,
It
that
fits.
kicks ass.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it's funny that you're like, well, we're not going to send you out there defenseless, and we're not really sending you with defenses. We're sending you with escape tools. Like, you still got to run away, but we'll help you run away. And I think that's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, talk to me about the apples and pester balls of the Lens
Yeah.
of Us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think there's going to be a lot of similarities with Fallout's with how Kyle took Kodachrome. So, for anybody not familiar with the property, the most defining trait of the cordyceps brain infection is about after a year from the initial infection. Which, remember, the brain infection specifically keeps its targets alive. Right? These are not dead, zombified people. These are very alive people. The infection completely blinds you because it literally like grows a mushroom over your brain and like over your eyes. Like, it's horrifying. So anybody who's infected at this stage of the virus, it's not a virus, it's a fungus, has to rely on a form of like primitive echolocation, which is why they call the zombies clickers, because they're literally like,
Sorry, can we one more time? What was that?
the Foley. Yeah. They're literally like.
Awesome. Great.
Zoom is cutting it out. I'm assuming you're making like the predator noise.
I'm making a clucking sound, with my tongue. So as a result, the cordyceps zombies you often find stalking their living prey from the shadows of like dilapidated buildings, abandoned stores, things like that, and in the darkness of these like scattered, destroyed maintenance tunnels. That is the primary location you're going to find them, because they don't just kind of roam out in the daylight because they're going to be sniped by the military encampments, right? So in the original game, The Last of Us, you as your player, Joel, you as Troy Baker, have to use random junk like broken bottles and bricks and other things that will make noise that will attract the zombies away from where you are. In The Lens of Us, it's the reverse. You're going to use noise effectively to stealth your way to a safe spot, basically secure your exit, and then attract the zombies toward you in order to get the best shot. So like maybe you like come in on a door, right? And you're like on a second floor overseeing like a building that's been destroyed from the middle, right? So you can see like a clicker zombie far away. Maybe you'll throw a bottle like near you, so it'll come like a couple feet from you, and then you'll use the "Hey" button to get it to rush, so you can snap your pick right then. The cool thing is, so your camera will be fitted with a high frequency emitter that will just play like a super high, like a noise only dogs can hear kind of thing, that will stun any cordyceps zombies for a few seconds, allowing you a time to escape. So if you've secured your escape route, you snap your pick right as it's in front of you, it stuns, and then you try and run away, and that's the escape portion. Now, similarly, I think you can take this concept to other things. Earlier I mentioned like, taking pictures of raiders and stuff. That will be very similar in that you're going to use stealth to like infiltrate their camps and, see what they're doing. And you can unlock other attachments for the camera, like, for example, a supercharged flash bulb that basically has a similar effect. It'll stun the human targets. Obviously wouldn't affect the zombies.
Yeah, dude. That rules. That's so cool. Like, I love that idea.
Fun?
Yeah, I love the flashbang idea. I think is really fun. I really like this kind of extreme nature of the photography where it's like, yeah, I have secured this locker and I'm going to go hide in this locker and then shout really loud so something comes and tries to open the locker. I think that's a really good idea. Well, actually, it's a really bad idea, but I think it's really fun.
Yeah, it's a
bad
terrible idea. But like, there's like a press your luck mechanic, right? Like, the closer the zombie is, the more points you score, the better, the more you'll get paid for the photo.
Yeah, I can't wait to take a really close-up picture of a zombie back to Professor Oak and him say, well, it's out of center, so 20 points.
It's a little blurry.
You didn't capture the subject.
All right, Todd, change the vibes up. Tell me about apples and pester balls in the Mario world.
Vibes will be changed here. So your Mario characters, this is not going to come as a surprise. They're going to have a variety of different throwables on their heads-up display. Everything from Hammer Bros hammers, fire and ice flowers, your normal and poison mushrooms, that weird new bubble power-up that I've not played with and couldn't be bothered to learn how it works, but I know it's a thing. And like the source material of Pokemon Snap, using any of these things will encourage the creatures of the Mushroom Kingdom to interact differently. So just some examples. Hammers will kind of operate as pester balls in a sense that they'll anger creatures along with destroying small blockades.
They'll anger creatures. You hit it with a hammer. Of course it'll be angry.
Should be mad. It should be mad. Fire will speed up creatures or melt ice. Ice flower would slow down creatures or stop them with enough or put out fires. They get bigger, they get made, let me rephrase that. They get made comically bigger or comically smaller if you hit them with a poison or a super mushroom. The bubble power-up can isolate small creatures and kind of like float them and make them listlessly like float in a direction. Or with enough effort, the bubble power-up could move a really big creature off their course. Just like Pokemon Snap, and this is a big thing here, interactables will change and jostle the creatures, and with enough effort can open up new and hidden pathways in your Snap-like shooter game that we've created.
Okay, I dig that. I really like I'm here to take a picture of a Goomba. Oh, I threw a super mushroom at the Goomba. Oh, it's a really big Goomba. Like, I think that's fun.
Yeah. Like a prime example could be, that lava dragon that everyone is horrified of. That like it's pestering a dry bones on an island, and you throw a super mushroom at the dry bones, and now the dry bones is a Godzilla-sized.
You have
dry
turned
bones.
the tables on this lava dragon. Todd, I forget. Are you controlling Mario in this, or will Mario be able to be the subject of a photo?
So yes, and the Mario Nintendo character will be dependent on the level.
Okay.
So like in the desert level, like I said, maybe you're Peach in like a hover cart, which is paying homage to Princess Peach in Mario 2 because she could hover. Or if you're like in an ice level, it's gonna be a Mario character decked out in ice or winter gear in a snowmobile.
Garb.
Yeah, so it's all thematic. So again, in that first example, maybe you're playing as Princess Peach because Mario's in the background trying to get his hat back from that buzzard. So Mario can both be the subject of the photo, and some levels you might control Mario.
Now, Todd, I have a question, and I notice here in the notes you just have the word Bowsette written here,
yeah.
and I'd love to just kind of dive in on that. What was your thinking there?
Yeah. So listeners of the show would know that we do have a shared note doc where we put out outlines of what we're going to say so we don't copy each other. My initial draft said, as long as I don't say anything that ends up with Bowsette, I think I'm good. Now it just says Bowsette.
Interesting.
So yeah, I'm sure if I go back to the versions of this notes doc of about 5 minutes ago, it might look different than it does now.
I think you're misremembering, Todd. I think it's always just been the single word Bowsette.
Listen, like we already talked about, photography is deep rooted in a history of freaks wanting photos. So yeah, you know what? Like if people yearn for Bowsette, we could probably get there. It is a Gyarados. It is an unlocking Gyarados style effort to get Bowsette if you want that.
I'll be honest, Todd. Before this, I only scanned your answers, and I also only remembered seeing the word Bowsette in your answers. So when you started talking about a crown falling in response to answer 2, I thought that's the direction this was headed.
See, what I did is I put down notes to not to not accidentally stumble upon Bowsette. Much like in elementary school when they put sawdust on the vomit in the hallway, I wrote the word Bowsette so I didn't step in the word Bowsette.
Yeah. But you kind of had a don't say giraffe, or don't think about a giraffe, don't think about a giraffe.
Yeah, and here it is. I'm only thinking about a scantily clad giraffe.
Totally by your own accord, Todd. Certainly not anything Andrew or I did.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
No.
I am being gaslit into thinking about Bowsette, and that's not what I want.
All right. Well, that was an excursion. So I like all of these ideas a lot. I think they're very good. And while I don't yearn for Bowsette, I do yearn for more photography games. And I think this is really fun. And I have one final question here before we wrap up. One of my favorite parts of Pokemon Snap were the interesting and obscure Easter eggs hidden throughout the game. Whether it was throwing enough pester balls to turn the Mankey into a Primeape, to roll the Primeape down the hill, to knock into the rock wall so that you could go down the secret path into the cave, or whether it was hitting the electrode with a bunch of pester balls, or not the electrode, what's the big yellow stand-up guy from the first generation?
Electabuzz.
You would hit Electabuzz with a bunch of pester balls.
Guy.
Yeah, that's what
the
he
crime
is.
here. The crime here is that listeners will never see Matt posturing up and shaking his arms like the Electabuzz. That's just
and
for
the fact
us.
and the fact that Kyle knew exactly what he's talking about
Immediately.
Yeah, it was a
Impressive.
good description. Anyway, you gotta trick Electabuzz to going over to the projectors and shocking the projectors so that it'll turn on the projector and put the shadow of Pinsir up on the wall. Anyway, that's enough reminiscing about Pokemon Snap. Guys, I need you to tell me about the obscure hidden Easter eggs we're going to try to capture, and I will take your answers on those Easter eggs right after this.
Are you into all things weird? Do you ever go to a party and all you can talk about is true crime? Or bugs? Or ghosts? Or that weird science fact that you just can't get enough of? Well, I'm Harmony. And I'm Haley. And we're the hosts of your new favorite podcast, Make It Weird. The comedy podcast that's bringing you the most bizarre stories from all around the world. Every other week, Harmony and I will each share a new story about something that we find particularly weird. Like the story of the 1920s female watch painters who were being poisoned by radium. Or the story of Carl Tanzler, the man who kept a woman's corpse in his house for 7 years. And in between those weeks, Haley and I will share some especially weird current events in our mini episodes. Like that time someone stole 34,000 avocados. Or that time a dog's microchip helped solve the mystery of its owner's murder. New episodes are live every Wednesday, and you can listen to us on all podcast platforms. Or watch our video on Spotify and YouTube. Thanks for listening, and we hope you'll join us on the next episode of Make It Weird. Bye!
All right, welcome back. It is time to hear about the obscure and hidden Easter eggs that we will be able to find, starting with you, Kyle, in not the Lens of Us, that's Andrew's thing, in Fallout Kodachrome.
There we go. You got there. Yeah, Matt. So like I said, we're doing the slow reveal that as the missions get more complex, as the photos you're asked to take get more specific, we're going to be tracing main beats from other Fallout games. So there will be Easter eggs in there, like take a picture of the master's corpse or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But the big one that is going to be, we'll say like the hardest to get, you only get one shot at getting this picture, will be the mushroom cloud that is created when you detonate the bomb in Megaton City.
Cool.
Classic Fallout iconography with the mushroom cloud. It's got that big like, oh, we went there moment from Fallout 3. And yeah, you only get one shot to get it because you just detonated a nuclear bomb and destroyed a city. So yeah, that's our big one-off, get it or you miss it shot in Fallout Kodachrome.
I love that. I love that you have to go nuclear bomb an entire city for one Easter egg. I do also, all jokes aside, love the idea of like, you get to do this one time in this whole game. You have one shot for this one picture.
One shot, yeah.
You better not screw it up. Do not miss your chance to blow. Andrew,
Thank you.
go ahead.
So I think that probably 2/3 of the way through the game, you'll encounter a couple, like a clicker zombie who is not very aggressive and is kind of in this like almost maze-like series of corridors, basically. And if you're just playing through the game and progressing through the game, it's just kind of like you just move past it. But if you were to use all of the tools that you have to follow this, have this zombie go through this maze like a rat finding cheese, you will end up at this little like abandoned looking shack with a door closed. You can't interact with it. But if you have the zombie do it just right and then like throw a broken bottle at the door of this shack, the zombie will rush the door and start like clawing at it. And then the door will swing open and that zombie will immediately get shot in the head as Pedro Pascal, wielding a rifle wearing comfortable denim, will just show up, his salt and pepper beard, and he'll say something like, "Ellie, get back in the house."
Flawless Pedro Pascal, Andrew.
That's how he sounds. You haven't seen the show, so you don't really know, but like that's how he sounds.
Indistinguishable, actually.
It's
Yeah.
pretty. Is he in the room with us?
Yeah. I'm Mr. Fantastic. You know how he talks.
Hey, I'm Mr. Fantastic.
Hey, it's me, the Mandalorian. This is the way.
Hey, it's me, the bad guy in Wonder Woman 84. Hey.
That
Remember
was a
that
movie.
Oh, man. Okay. Todd, finish us out here. What are the random Easter eggs or obscure hidden secrets in Mario?
Yeah, there's absolutely a lot of those fun interactions. So things that you can expect, like if you knock wings, the flying wings free from a block that fall on a troopa and give it the power of flight, turning it into a paratroopa, or hitting a blooper with a bubble to float it into one of those power balloon inflation power-ups from Super Mario to inflate the blooper and make it question its whole existence as it floats through the air. Or things like angering a wiggler so that it falls off a ledge and lands in a Lakitu cloud, effectively turning it into a rage-inflicted monster, deciding to 1v1 the angry sun to finally take it down. Those are all things that you can expect to happen. Also, just outside of the bit, imagining an enraged wiggler in a Lakitu cloud charging towards the angry sun is a personal favorite mental image that I've created for myself here today. But the real secret in Mario Snap is finding the one secret exit in each overworld land that requires you to do a special, I kind of said it before, a Gyarados-like execution of specific events that will lead you into finding one of the 7 Mario stars. Once you find all 7 stars, you unlock access to the Star Road, what is a series of wild and wonderful Mario stages paying homage to the Super Mario World stages, so things like Tubular, Radical, whatever. But since this game is coming so much later than that game did, this also gets to lean into the zaniness that Mario Maker has awarded us by showing us an overworld of maps that do not make complete sense, but pay, again, homage to this wild world of cannons that shoot coins and things that you got to grab a key to get out of an endless loop, or having to catch a spiny beetle shell on top of your head to break through blocks. And of course, the big thing is with all of these is if you complete that overworld, the Star Road, there will be an obligatory spelling of messages and coins high above your head, because I feel like that's always a thing that happens in a Mario Maker world.
In the bonus worlds, yeah.
Yeah. And like, listen, is it fan service? It absolutely is fan service, but hey, this game is fun, and it's for you, the listener, who loves Mario shtick.
Yeah, man, I get it. I'm into it. I love it. I haven't thought about Mario Snap in too long, so I'm into all of those ideas.
You haven't thought about Mario Snap in too long, or
Mario Maker? That's what I said. What
but
did
you're
you
thinking
say?
about Mario Snap a lot nowadays.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I'm ready to admit to that. Anyway, I need to go have some conversations with the execs. Before I do, hit me with those good closing statements and wrap your pitch up for us today, Kyle.
Yeah, Matt, we're doing a Snap-like in one of the most popular first-person shooter franchises. I don't know what else you need to hear. We're going through all of Fallout's greatest hits, and taking pictures of them.
All right. Going through the hits and taking pictures of them. That is this episode at its core. I like that a lot. Andrew, give me a closing statement.
And Matt, I mean, it's a survival horror Lastovania snap like what can I say? What else can I say?
Lastovania.
What else can I say?
What else can you say?
Nothing else. Nothing else to say, really.
Yeah, I think it puts it perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Todd, last but not least, closing statement.
Yeah, Matt, I've said a lot about this game, but I want to leave you, instead of a closing statement, some other tracks that you can look forward to if this is the game we go with. Number 1, an airship-themed level complete with that banger Mario 64 track. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone wants it. 2, some sort of an Olympic/sports-themed zone that the major feature is it ends up with you on the field of the football team running the slot option with bouncing off of charging chucks as you're zooming across the field.
I'd like to call a flag on the play here. He's using his closing statement to extend his answer to question 2.
I got it.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
A horror-themed level featuring Luigi that is the negative zone, complete with Mr. L and obviously Guigi. And lastly, Matt, the thing that our game will bring is a baby park level that gives you 8 frantic laps to get all the images and characters, but each lap goes faster as the track gets more hectic and busted with bombs, shells, and chain chomps. This is the game that people want.
I would like Baby Park stricken from the record. That is not an effective closing statement, and I don't believe that the jury should be hearing Baby Park at this time. Thank you.
We have ruled that the jury has been tainted. They cannot forget that Baby Park has been mentioned.
We will need to rescind all statements and find a new jury. No, we will. We'll have discussions about the legality of Todd's actions with the execs, but we're off to do that right now. Y'all do some good vibes.
Yeah, Andrew, Last of Us is very good. Always good to break glass in case of an emergency with Last of Us. It has been a couple of years since the last Last of Us remake, so I think your timing is spot on as well. Todd, I do love the idea of a Mario snap. I will talk about it in the post show some more because I also had a Mario Maker snap idea before I pivoted. So good work, both of you.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle and Todd, these both kick ass. Kyle, the Fallout bit is so good. It's such a unique, diverse, and deep world to explore. And I mean, that's the whole point of any Fallout game, is just wandering around the waste and seeing what weird shit there is. This perfectly encapsulates it. It fits right in the setting. It's great. Similarly, Todd, you did the best at encapsulating, emulating Pokemon Snap. Really just building the vision that is Pokemon Snap. The on rails, the extra layers of whimsy, all of the unlockables, and just Mario is one of the few franchises that has even more deep cuts than Pokemon does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just there. I mean, that is an infinite well to draw from. So yeah, great job, guys.
Yeah, Kyle, I love Fallout. When I saw it in the notes, I was like, this is going to be pretty good, which is also why I had to laugh that the very first thing you reference taking photos of is Caesar's Legion. One of the top 5 least hospitable spaces that an outsider could walk into and be like, hey, I'm here to take photos. It's like that and Deathclaw Alley.
Spoiler alert, most of my Fallout knowledge comes from this podcast and the Magic set. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I could think of, let's put it this way. I could think of a few less hospitable places to start, but not many. But I love the idea of this, kind of what Andrew said. Your responsibility is exploring the wasteland, because all Fallout games are about exploring the wasteland, but usually you're looking for something like the water chip or the Garden of Creation kit or your dad. And so or the person that killed your partner. I love that in a game that's always about exploration, you're yeah, but what if you're not hunting anything, you're actually exploring? And I think that's really fun. Andrew, The Last of Us, but you just got to take pictures of the horrors, is a very specific kind of game. And
the horrors persist, and we must take pictures.
My God. I was so I was kind of lukewarm on your answer until you said one of the things your character can do is just go, hey!
Yeah, man.
And I was like, all right, yeah, that's great. What is a horror-ish Snap-like without a distraction tool, but your distraction is just a man yelling.
Yourself.
Yeah, that's very fun. I like that.
Yeah, I'll throw some good vibes out here at the end. These were all very good. I had this idea for an episode, like, I think years ago, because I found it in the parking lot. But Pokemon Snap is one of my favorite games, and I've always wanted more just random photography games that are fun and kitschy in this way. And while not all of your answers today were fun and kitschy, they were all really cool photography games ideas, and I liked that a lot. So I am back from meeting with the execs, and I have a couple of things to report. First off, Todd, we were contacted by the Professional Lakitu Photographers of the Mushroom Kingdom Association.
Yeah, it's fair.
That is the union for all Lakitu photographers in the Mushroom Kingdom, and they have let us know that Snappy is actually a big scab.
Yeah,
And
we don't deal with that.
Yeah,
That's
local 1-1 doesn't mess around with things like that.
Kyle, holy shit, man!
Oh,
Wow.
Well, it's established canonically that Wario is aggressively pro-union, and he wouldn't stand for that.
No, and neither can we here at DT HQ. So we won't be making Mario Snap today. Although thank you for your suggestions. We did enjoy them. That leaves us with Kyle and Andrew. Two different games, both largely for the freaks, both needing to come up with some absurd lore reason why we either still have film or digital photography, either one. But I gotta say, both myself and the execs liked the survival horror aspects of, no, you need to bring the zombies to you first. That's just so funny and such a fun game concept, and I like it a lot.
Thanks, man.
I can't get over that. You're the winner here today. Kyle, that is not to say you were a loser. Your game was also very good, but holy shit. Hey, I'm gonna bunker up in this room. Can you yell? Just shout for me a couple times. That's so funny. Oh, I love that a lot. Andrew, you are our winner here today.
Amazing. I'd like to thank Pedro Pascal as my source of inspiration always.
You mean the eccentric billionaire from that Nicolas Cage movie?
Yes, the very one.
Exactly, that one. And not the eccentric billionaire from Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah.
Accurate.
And I would like to thank you for listening to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon at Debate This Cast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. If you want to support Debate This, if you want to get more Debate This, if you want to hear us talk about probably not the biggest bummer of a DCOM ever, but the biggest bummer of a DCOM we're going to watch on our premium show, Deconstructed, you can head over to patreon.com/debatethiscast, where for the price of $5 a month, you can get yourself that premium show, as well as join our patron exclusive Discord, where we have lots of fun and talk about Magic the Gathering and video games and music and other stuff. Get all the information at patreon.com/debatethiscast. Until next time, I'm Matt Cole.
I'm Kyle. If Wario is a union boss, then Waluigi goes around breaking kneecaps of scabs. Harper.
I'm Andrew. This is the way I'm walking here. Henderson.
And I'm Todd. The vault that's just one dude and a bunch of puppets is my personal favorite. Thomas.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.